Okay, we're rolling.
Hey, welcome back to the How to Podcast series. It's Dave with you. I hope you're doing fantastic. Thanks for being here. Thanks for being part of the show. Appreciate you dropping by. If this is your first time here, welcome. This is the How to Podcast series. My name is Dave. I live in Ontario, Canada. And I've been podcasting now I'm in my 8th year now. And 2,500 episodes later, 9 podcasts in active rotation, podcaster meetup, and a bunch of other stuff going on. And I work full time, and I do all this with no ads, no sponsorships. Nobody pays my bills except for me. And the people that I want to connect with are people just like you. And that's why I create the show. So you being here is a great indicator that something's working. So thanks. I don't know how you found the show. I'd love to know the answer to that question at howtopodcast.ca. Let me know. SpeakPipe's there. Email's there. Zoom link for a meetup time with me. One-on-one is there, virtual coffee together. But I would like to know how you found the show. So if you're new here, let me know, because I want to do more of that because it's working. You're here. Thanks for being here, by the way. We're doing a little bit more around the idea that we want to be turning our podcast listeners into fans with a single word. One single word. Did you know there's one single word that can make this happen? And all you need to do is put this word into your podcast intentionally, and you're going to reach an audience that you might not have been touching or reaching in the past. It's a very simple word to add. It swaps out a different word, and it's going to make a world of difference. And I'm glad you're here. You ready to know what that word is? I'll give you a hint. It's in the title of the episode. I'll give you a second. Did you see it? Okay, well, let's talk about it. How you present your podcast like a pro podcaster. You know, the ones that get up on stage at those big fancy conferences and people crowd around when they leave the stage. Oh my gosh, I have your book. You're an award-winning podcaster. Hall of Fame. Woo! Everyone kind of swoons all over them, right? That person, a pro podcaster. Ooh. Yeah. Well, how do you present like a podcast pro? Well, it's a simple shift in the way that you use your language. When my kids are little, they're big now. When my kids were little, I would tell them to use their words. They would whine, they would cry, they would fuss. And you're like, I don't know what you want. Use your words. And it helped them to explain what they were feeling. And then I could, if they're hungry, I could feed them. If they needed their diaper changed, I could help. But I need you to use your words. I can't read your mind, right? And as podcasters, we need to use our words and use them well. So there's one simple word that you could shift. It'll make a world of difference in your podcast. The most important word to use in your podcast is the word you. Y-O-U. The word you. That's it. Podcast over. Thanks, everybody. Have a good day. No, okay, let's keep going. That single choice of using the word you shapes how your audience feels, listens, and connects with you as a podcaster. Radio people talk about this. Podcasters talk about this. It's worth repeating because when we speak to one person, we connect in a very unique way. That internet doesn't work this way. Social media doesn't work this way. YouTube really doesn't work this way. But podcasts are different. We speak to one person. Podcasting creates this direct line of communication between yourself as the host and your listener. People choose your voice. They make a conscious effort to decide that this is my person, this is my podcast. They press play. They focus in on what you say and how you say it. This makes the whole podcast medium deeply personal for people who listen to podcasts. You probably feel it yourself as a listener. You feel connected to the host. You've never met them. You've never done anything to connect with them, but you feel connected to them, right? Strong hosts lean into this by speaking to one person, not a crowd, not group speak. We replace broad phrases like everyone and you guys and to more of a direct language approach to a specific person. Now, I'm guilty of this in my own podcasts. Hey, everybody, welcome to the Living the Next Chapter podcast. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Dad Space. Hey, everybody, welcome to the How to Podcast series. It just kind of comes out from me. It's the way I speak every day. Hey, guys, like that's normal for me. So you need to be intentional, and myself as well, need to be intentional about thinking about speaking to one person. And even if you throw in the occasional everybody and hey guys, you still think about your audience in the terms of one person at a time consuming your content. Ask questions like, what do you think about this? Instead of what does everybody think about this topic? Or what are you feeling today? Or what are we feeling? See, there's an intentionality behind it that we're focused on the one. It really transforms how you approach creating your content and how you approach each individual episode that you record, because you're not thinking of a large audience that you need to impress. You're thinking about one person that you need to connect with. There's a difference there. It's a subtle change, but it makes your delivery feel like a real conversation instead of a performance. Now, we've talked about this on the podcast before, that you do need to perform as a podcaster. You do need to step it up a little bit, especially you people that are really sleepy and low energy. Well, you got to step it up a little bit. You got to be a little bit more engaging. And the people that are over the top, you got to pare it back a little bit. You're a little much sometimes. It is a show, but we're not performing. We're acknowledging that we are giving something to the world that they're looking for. We need to build real connection as podcasters, and that again comes back to the use of the word you over everyone. Always put yourself back into the listener's perspective. It really helps to shape everything you do and all the things you decide to do around your podcast. Listeners experience your podcast alone. They are walking, driving, sitting quietly with their headphones on, washing the dishes. The kids have just been put down for a nap. They're looking for an escape. When you address your podcast listeners as a group, it breaks that illusion. And when you speak to the you that are listening to the show, it strengthens it. I like to also just point out that it's great to focus on the you, but I also like people to realize that they're part of a bigger group. So anytime you can acknowledge how many countries your show is in, all that kind of information, that's great for a listener because they have no idea that people are also listening in Egypt. People are also listening in Japan. They're like, oh, really? Like there's more people out there than just me who love the show. So focus on the you, but don't forget to let people know that this is a global audience and you're part of something big here. And it's great to have you with us, but I'm talking just to you. This approach is going to help to build trust over time. And it turns passive listeners into engaged fans. The goal for me in this show and all my other shows is to take you from a passive listener listening to me right now to being my online connection, my friend. My goal is to connect as many people as possible to each other and to collect you as a listener. That's my goal. I want to meet you. I want to know about you. I want to know how I can help you. And I want to know what this show does for you and doesn't do for you yet. That's really going to be helpful. It turns the passive people into actual connections. And over time, that connection creates loyalty between you and your listener and you as the host. And it gives people the tools to share your podcast through word of mouth promotion. And this is a great way to grow your podcast. When people start talking about you and you're not even in the room, build real connections by talking to the one instead of the many. People are going to feel it. I'm finding that community without intimacy is really, really tough. We need that intimacy every time we build a community around our podcast. Some shows create names for their audience. That can build identity and a shared culture. It works well on social media and branding, but use this carefully. Keep your core delivery focused on the individual listener. You can reference the group, but your main voice should still feel like it's a one-on-one conversation. Always think like a listener. Shift your mindset while recording. Picture one person sitting across from you. Talk to them. You're at a coffee shop. It's casual. It's relaxed. It's not structured. It's not a script. It's a conversation. Keep your tone natural. Let your words feel like it's part of a conversation and get away from thinking your podcast like a broadcast. It's where a lot of people who come from radio into podcasting try to bring their 30 years on the mic as a radio personality, and they try to make podcasting like broadcasting. But it's not. Broadcasting, they talk about speak to the one, but they're focused on the many. That's their whole thing, is how many ads can we get? How can we get in front of more people? We serve a radius of 4 million people. 4 million people aren't listening to your radio show. I'm sorry. But the potential's there, right? Well, the potential for podcasting is we have a global audience, so that squashes any radio metric at all. If we're going to say that we could reach this many people, well, it's a big planet, and podcasting doesn't have borders and doesn't have a radio tower, so we can reach anybody anywhere. So that whole metric is out the window. But when people come from broadcasting into podcasting, they talk about the performance and the persona and all these things around being a radio personality. It doesn't always translate. So I get a little nervous when people come into podcasting and try to make it radio. It's not. And I hope it never becomes that with all the ads and everything else. Really? That's why we're here, because we're not on radio, right? We need to think like a listener. Shift your mindset when you're recording. Picture the one person, talk to them. That kind of perspective changes everything. Your pacing will improve. Your clarity sharpens, and your audience is going to feel like you're connected with them immediately. It's going to feel real and natural, not forced and fake, like radio. The key takeaway here that I want to leave you with as I kind of sum up in my brain this whole idea around turning podcast listeners into podcast fans with that simple word you is use you, the word, with intention. Like if you're going to script, make sure that you have you in there instead of everyone. Scratch it out and make sure it says you. Speak to one person every time you record, and your podcast is going to feel more human, more engaging, and far more memorable than speaking to a bunch of people. Speak to one and connect with them. Take them from passive to active in how you deal with them after the episode goes live, and build your community one person at a time. I would much rather have a small community with 5 to 10 people who are super active and really care about each other and what we're trying to build than a group of 10,000 people who you never hear from. I'd love to go small and go deep. That's how I like to build my communities. You can do it however you want. Your mileage may vary, but for me, I'd much rather have a deep connection with people that's meaningful for them and for me than a bunch of people they'll never hear from. So if you're part of my community, thank you. If you're not yet, please come join us, and we'd love to help you at howtopodcast.ca. Thanks for listening. Go be an amazing podcaster, and don't forget to talk to your audience and address them as you instead of everyone. So thank you for listening to the show. Thank you for going to howtopodcast.ca and leaving me a message. I can't wait to talk to you. And for everybody else, thanks for being here too. Cheers. So here at the How to Podcast series, we love to hear from you. You might think that we get a lot of feedback. Man, we don't. We don't get a lot because people just feel like, why bother? Like, why? Does Dave really care what I have to say? And I do. I actually do really care what you have to say. I love your input. I love hearing from you. And we've started a survey for our listening audience, which includes you right here, right now. And I'd love, love, love for you to head over to howtopodcast.ca. And you'll see our survey right there on our website. And take a few minutes, come through, answer the thoughtful questions we're asking of you to make the show better. Not just for you, but for everyone. Your feedback is really going to help shape the show. And I selfishly just want to hear from you. So if you're thinking, Dave probably already knows what I think, I don't. I really don't. I'm not good at reading minds. My wife will confirm that completely. So I don't really know what you think of the show. I don't know if you like it, if you like how long the show is, how long the episodes are, that Dave's doing 365 episodes in a year. Oh my gosh. Like, I would love to hear from you and get your thoughts on this very show right here. So head over to howtopodcast.ca, click on our survey link. It's also in the show notes for every episode, in the most recent episodes, and I'd love to hear from you. So as a listener of this here very show, Your feedback can make this show so much better. So much better. And I'm not drowning in emails and voice messages and speak pipes and buy me a coffees right now. So I'm putting the ask out to you right now, as a listener of the show, and you're still here, that you take a moment, head over to our website, click the link in the show notes for any episode, and go to our survey and let us know your thoughts about this show, how it could be better, and what you love, and what you're like, Dave, can you stop doing this? That would be really helpful. Thanks for being here and being part of the How to Podcast family. See you over at howtopodcast.ca. Talk soon. Thanks for being here. Bye. You're still here. Amazing. Okay, this is bonus stuff at the end of the episode. Thanks for being here. Thanks for listening to the podcast. Thanks for listening this far. I appreciate it. So I had somebody reach out to me, and they're a new podcaster, and I think we've all fallen into this trap at some point or another, or we're trapped there right now. They said, Dave, how do I keep from checking my download stats every 5 minutes? Like, it's just like I'm always there seeing how many people have listened so far. How do I get out of this trap? For a new podcaster, I would love for you to not even think about your stats when you first start your show. There's so much that you need to learn about podcasting and about yourself that watching your statistics, it's not going to serve you well. It's not going to make you any better. There's some great things about stats that are going to help you down the road, like where people are listening, how long they're listening. That's all information that's really interesting and could really help shape your show for the future. But when you're first starting, you're starting from zero, like every podcaster does. You're starting from zero. And what happens from that point on is completely up to you and the podcasting gods out there, and luck and timing and opportunities, all of those things. So for me, I would say, from my perspective, when you start your show, focus on building a great podcast, focus on great content, focus on you improving, focus on feedback, focus on connecting with people and being part of the podcast community, focus on being a guest on other shows, focus on education and community, build up your tanks of resources and people in the space that you can draw from and lean on and learn from and commiserate with as podcasters. Don't do podcasting alone is my big thing for new podcasters. But when it comes to looking at your stats every 5 minutes and refreshing the page, yeah, it might feel like a dopamine hit to see a new listen in a new country, and you're like, oh my gosh. But after a while, it kind of wanes, and you're like, there's got to be more to podcasting than just stats. And there is. It's community building. It's connection. It's somebody hearing your words and taking a different path in life because of something you said or an interview or a resource that you have in your podcast, and their whole world is different. That's the kind of stuff you can't measure. I had one podcast listener for my Dad Space podcast who committed to going to get mental health help after years of putting it off because of an episode of my show on Dad Space. Like, come on. I would do the podcast forever if that's the only response I got, was that somebody went, you know what? Yeah, it's time. It's time to go get some help. Like, that's worth more to me than any money that could come to my show or any sponsorship or any podcast award or Hall of Fame nomination or any of that stuff. Somebody's life is different. Come on. Like, that is enough for me to keep pushing forward. So what is it for you? What is it for you? Get away from the stats when you first start. And then when you do start looking at it and measuring, have a healthy respect for what they are and also realize what they're not. They're not always 100% true. They're as close as we can get to perfection without it being perfect. They change. Algorithms change. Measurements change. Rules change. So if your whole world is wrapped up in analytics, it's not going to serve you well into the future. But the moment you can take a new listener in California, and then you can find out who they are through connections through the podcast and then responding to you, And now you can have them on your screen and have a conversation with them. You have now a friendship building there where you help each other. Like, that's the meaningful thing. And that happens one person at a time. Back to our topic for today. So building great community around your show is worth more to me than a number. A number can be gamed. A number could be fake. A number could be a disengaged audience member. A number could be a mistake. Could be any reason for it. But a person in front of you in an email, SpeakPipe, buy me a coffee, or on your screen as a guest, as a chat, that's where the power of podcasting lies. You have time with a human being because of your podcast. That's what I like. So yeah, analytics are fun to watch, but like planting seeds in your garden, you don't go out 10 minutes later to see if anything's happened. It's not how seeds work, and that's not how podcasts work. So keep it in mind. If you need help, howtopodcast.ca. Talk soon.